American man. No one pay attention to what's in my head. I got a voice inside that needs to be fed. It's causing chaos everywhere I land. I got a fever. I got a fever.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Ohio Sports Talk. I am your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxson. And very shortly, we will be joined by Coach Fresh, who's waiting in the wings. I hope everybody is having a great Thursday night. Sorry about the slow intro. We had a little bit of a snafu there with the internet. We have got it rolling now. Let's bring in the Coach Fresh. Hey, Coach Fresh, how you doing?
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Excited to have you on the show.
Glad to be here. It's going to be nice to be able to talk and not chat.
Yeah, that's definitely going to help a lot. We always appreciate you chiming in and, poking the bear with Jordan there about the Bengals and things like that. So we always enjoy those moments. Coach Fresh, tell us a little bit about yourself. We've kind of, gotten to know you here through the internet. Jordan obviously knows you more personally, but for me, getting to know you a little bit through the internet here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the viewers a little bit more about you.
Oh, gosh. Well, this is my 25th year overall coaching. A lot of that has been in high school. I started out coaching fifth grade Pee-wees and just kind of worked my way up. Coached arena football for 8 years. Just been around the block, had a cup of coffee with the Browns for a year as an intern. So just been around. I absolutely love it. I'm currently with, the Alter Knights program. This is my 12th year there. And it's great. I absolutely love
it. Coach Fresh, obviously you have an extensive experience. What would you say is your favorite thing about coaching?
Oh, man. I'll tell you, coaching professionally is a lot more stressful for obvious reasons. There's so much money involved, and there's so many moving parts. So when you lose or you don't do well, there's a lot of people to answer to. It's not just you and the people in your locker room like it is for high school. So actually, I think probably overall the most rewarding coaching personally that I've done is with the little guys, fifth and sixth graders. I mean, just to see a kid who comes in and it finally clicks for them, and then they just fall in love with the game. That's absolutely the most rewarding thing.
And that's a great answer because obviously, being at all these different levels, you get to see so many different stages of development that you get to, you've seen the game from an intern level, a head coach, an assistant, all these different facets of the game. It's great to have that wealth of knowledge. Jordan, give us a little bit of background on how you and Coach Fresh came to be and how you guys came to, poke fun back and forth and that kind of thing.
We met through Coach Freshwater, Mike Freshwater for Alter basketball. I've been kind of working close to the best with him the last 2 years to get into the Alter program, and we got to run some pretty fun things. Covering his basketball, especially the state championship last year. Mike went to high school with my parents, so I knew Mike Freshwater a little bit before that. So it's been super fun. They got me into the program here. So I'm happy to be part of the Alter family. It's been a blast. It started a little rough this year, but I'm having a blast with it. The kids are learning. I'm learning. It was nice to come over from the West Claremont system over to Alter. So it was a big culture change to be around kids and stuff that actually want to be there. Was kind of refreshing. So, and to work with these guys and learn from these guys it's been a blast. Working with his son Cooper has been super fun. I just have a great time every time I'm on a field and practicing with the kids. So it's been a blast, and I hope to keep building my resume with them and move forward. So
definitely. Coach Fresh, let's touch on Alter just a little bit. Obviously, with your association, I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. It hasn't gone as well as maybe we thought it would. We're not asking you to give away all the goods here, but what are your thoughts? A quarter of the way into the year now.
I'll tell you, injuries are brutal. And losing our our 4-year starter at quarterback, that's hard. That's hard to overcome. And then especially when your backup is a freshman, it's and you throw three starting offensive line in the mix there, and it's a rough go. But that being said, if you go and look at our schedule over the years, we always schedule up before we get into the GCL.
Yes.
And a lot of people think we're crazy for doing that, but to be honest with you, it's hard for us to find people to play us at our Division 4, Division 3 level. Mm-hmm. But in most years we handle ourselves and handle our business. But when you're just decimated with injuries, with all the knowledge that this football staff has, if you don't have the talent just yet, you got to develop it. You got to coach it up, and I think we're going to be on the right track here. We're getting some of our injured players back. The freshman quarterback has had a really good week of practice. And I think we're going to get right the ship here and hopefully get a few more big wins in the GCL and qualify for the playoffs, which will be our 24th year in a row, I believe.
Right. So let's look ahead. Tomorrow night, you guys are, I believe, at Carroll. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep.
At Carroll, you guys are 2-3 right now. Mm-hmm. You guys, like you said, you start the year off with Fairmont. Fairmont has been just consistent the last, however long it's been since their head coach came over. You guys had a tough game against Taft. Everybody knows Taft. And then you guys got Archbishop McNicholas. You got Baden, Fenwick, CJ to close out the year. So there's still games to, make up this ground and get back into the mix. Obviously, we've been following along with Jordan and, you being around. So we're wishing for you the best. Get back in that winning ways tomorrow night. We're rooting for you. But Coach Fresh, you're wearing the Browns hat. Let's transition a little bit. Let's talk about it. The Browns head out to Oakland this weekend. Or sorry, not Oakland. Las Vegas this weekend. Yeah. A tough game, in my opinion, for more reasons that are internal than the Raiders. Give me some of your thoughts on the first 3 games from the Browns and what you're expecting this weekend.
Well, my biggest thing, and this is across the board for the NFL, it makes me crazy when the starters don't play in preseason games. And I think when you take your first 3 or 4 games, to be honest with you, just about every NFL team looks like crap because the starters aren't playing, which I get. It's an investment, it's a business. But after week 4, if you have any kind of continuity and are ready to compete, it should be in week 4. You have no more excuses. I do feel bad for Stefanski. It's hard when everybody's blaming you when it was awful. There's not one good thing I can say about the Browns so far this year, and that pains me. I've been a fan for 54 years, and it's just been ugly from top to bottom.
You're unmute.
And like you said, there's not been a lot of positives, and that's been the real issue. Is usually with the Browns, we could kind of hang our hat on having a good O-line these last couple years. Oh. We had Nick Chubb to get behind, and we haven't had that. Obviously next week he can potentially return from IR, but again, the Raiders. What about the Raiders would worry you as a fan?
Well, I mean, we lost 60% of our offensive line last weekend, and we're going to be facing one of the best edge rushers in the league. He's just going to have a field day.
It's not going to be fun.
It's not, and I hope we were able to keep him back in there to help protect Watson a little bit. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, if they keep bringing guys in from, free agency and practice squad guys, but you get to these high-level guys, and every team has it. You have to be a dude to stop a dude. There's just there's no sugarcoating it. And right now, I don't think the Browns have any dudes. Big Thanos looked not great the other day. I mean, that was totally not what I expected out of him. Like, he had concrete feet. He couldn't move. And kudos to the Giants. They exploited it and made it look ugly.
Yeah. Nope. And like you said, I in my opinion, and I don't have it from the perspective of a coach or, somebody who's been through the system, but that was some of the worst O-line play communication wise, guys not moving their feet, the basics. It just felt like there was nothing working in those first 3 quarters. I thought there was a couple drives there in the fourth that things got a little bit better. They started to chip a little bit and make some of those guys work for the Giants, but man, there was possessions there, like you said, with DeJuan Jones. He looks overweight. He's not moving well. He's trying to block with one arm because he has that long reach. He's not getting in front of guys. And even our anchors in the middle, Posick, Teller, Batonio, they were getting beat up by Dexter Lawrence. That he is a phenom. Mm-hmm. But hey, you got to do something. There's got to be better communication. Guys are going by you. Wills, I've never really been a fan of. We could talk about that guy all day, how bad he is, in my opinion. But it's a struggle. Let's get a prediction from you, Coach. What's your prediction for this weekend? Browns Raiders.
Oh, would you want me to speak from the heart or from?
I want to. You are a Browns fan.
We let it fly on this, Coach. We let it fly on this show, Coach.
Be honest. Be honest. I want to hear the truth.
Be honest and raw. This is what we're known for on the show. So just let it go.
Be honest. Okay. Looking at what we're taking out to Las Vegas, I don't think the Browns can pull this one out personally. Okay. Maybe 17-14, 21-7, something along those lines. I just don't think when you have a team that is on paper so stacked and you can't compete at home, I don't know how you're going to take that team and travel across the country and expect to do it. I just don't see it. I mean, when I wake up Sunday morning, I'll still have all my Brown stuff on and optimism at its highest until the second quarter. And then, you're a Browns fan, you know how it goes, but
I get it.
Boy, it would be great to go out there and just right the ship and get on a little run here.
Yeah, Coach, I would settle for just looking better almost.
Absolutely. Just
like improvement, just eye test wise.
Mm-hmm.
If things ran smoother, if we didn't have undisciplined penalties, if we didn't have our D line, as talented as Myles Garrett is, the truth is he hurts us sometimes with these stupid jumping offside penalties. If we could get just less of that, more discipline, I would feel better going into next week. And Jordan will get to you here in a second. I know we've been bouncing back and forth, the Browns fans, wallowing in our misery. You've got more than enough misery to worry about in your own with your team, so we'll touch on that shortly. But Coach,
let me get my hanky out.
I think we're lucky that the Raiders aren't very good either. While they do have, a Max Crosby who's an excellent player, they have a Devontae Adams who's an excellent player. They have some really good players as a whole. I would say they're as bad, if not a little bit worse than that. I think that's could be our saving grace. The problem is, Coach Fresh, we have a guy under center that we can't trust.
Mm-hmm.
We can't trust him to be the guy, and that's a problem. I think Gardner Minshew isn't good enough to really change the tides. I'm going to actually give us a win. I'm going to go 20-10. We've got to watch Brock Bowers. He is an excellent tight end out of Georgia. He's leading all the tight ends in the statistical categories. He's going to be a must-stop type player.
Yeah, who are we going to cover him with?
It's got to be JOK. He's got to take over that. I know he likes to get in and mix it up, and he likes to do that blitzing, but he's our best athlete at that position. You've got to take that challenge on, and we've got to let Jordan Hicks, who's played really well. I'm not going to say he's been fantastic because we're losing games, but I think he's been a bright spot, bringing him in from the free agency. And at some point, Coach Fresh, we might need to see Devin Bush get out there and play a little bit more.
That's who I'm gonna recommend, because Devin Bush is excellent in coverage.
And we might have to, run some of that, and we might have to see Grant Delpit play a little bit more coverage. These are the kind of things you got to put your best guys on best guys sometimes, and you got to go out and win these battles, like you said, Coach Fresh. If you got to stop a dude with a dude, and those are our dudes on paper. So I'm going to go 2010. I think, and this is obviously I'm biased. I want to win the game. The win is important to me. I'll be up here pacing in my living room, upset over a 4-and-out on a random possession in the second quarter. So I get a little crazy, but that's just how we are as Browns fans. So
that's right.
We've got to stop these dudes on their team and let Amari Cooper get going. Get Jerome Ford some carries early. Go ahead, Fresh.
Can we just reach out to the Colts and get an even swap for? Can we get Flacco back for Watson? I would be tickled pink for that.
Coach, that playoff game was so bad, though. It just felt like the wheels fell off in it, and I just think it was more of an outlier, one last hurrah for Flacco. That's how I felt about it.
Yeah.
But obviously, you could feel different.
I don't. When Flacco threw the ball, I didn't have to hold my breath. Every time Watson throws the ball, I'm holding my breath and closing my eyes a little bit. And I'm just not. He had his shot. I was excited like everybody else. Hey, we're getting this all league, all great, all world quarterback. He's a turd. I mean, it is what it is. And the switch is not going to flip. If it's not flipped already, it's not going to happen.
Fair. That's very fair. Jordan, we've rambled back and forth. We'll let you, an outsider in this chat right now, we'll let you, what are you seeing? Because you get to look at it from a different vision. You're not a fan of this team like we are. You're not a living and dying by it. You're the Bengals guy. So what are you seeing with the Browns? And then what are you predicting in the matchup with the Raiders this weekend?
Well, I'm going to start with something you guys kind of didn't touch on. Marvin Lewis is an assistant head coach. He knows the AFC North very well. When they upset Baltimore, you can do that all day, but Doug, knowledge is knowledge. You don't spend 10+ years in a division and not know how they play. That's one of the reasons I think the Raiders upset Baltimore was, Marvin Lewis knew that style of play. He knew what they were going to come out as. And, behind the scenes, I'm more than positive that he told Antonio Pierce exactly what to do and how to do it. So I think that that's kind of going against your favor. I know the players have changed, the coaches have changed since he's played the Browns, but, that style of AFC North play kind of remains the same. AFC North's always been built on great run games, great defenses, and a little bit of flash at quarterback. But I think the Browns kind of get this one. I think it's going to be a lot closer. I have it 27-24. The Browns win by field. I think
you got to score some touchdowns.
But here's my thought on it, Douglas. I don't think Deshaun Watson finishes the game. I think Deshaun Watson, they make the quarterback switch at halftime, and I think we're going to see Jameis Winston play 2 quarters of football. That's my bold prediction for this game, because Douglas, I don't think they're going to stick with it. If he comes out flat, if he misses these throws, if he holds onto the ball too long against Max Crosby, they're going to make the switch. They're going to make the switch to a guy that's faster on his feet, can read blitzes better, and keep plays alive with his legs. And that's what I think Jameis Winston is going to make that quarterback change. I think he's going to lead you guys to a surprise win, and I think it's going to be a quarterback controversy going into next week. So I don't wish that upon you guys, but I think as a coaching staff, when you've seen enough, and Coach Fresh kind of nailed it there, when he's playing like a turd. He's not improving. His excuses are out. We're going into week 4, so your lack of preseason play kind of goes out the window there. And if the Cleveland coaching staff wants to keep their jobs, Doug, and you go in kind of flat at halftime, they're going to make that switch, and they almost have to. They got to provide a spark. They got to get things going. And that in my mind, as an outsider looking in, that's your answer for the short term. It's going to cover up some of the offensive line woes. Like I said, he's faster on his feet.
He's not. You don't think James Winston's faster than Deshaun Watson? Because he is not. He's not a scrambler. He is not a scrambler.
In this point of his career, I do.
No,
I really
do.
No. In this point of career, Jameis Winston has taken less hits, has had less injuries. He's been holding a clipboard for a while. The Saints would bring him in for a pace change, so he's used to that kind of style of play. So and this is what you kind of bring him in for. You bring him in on 3rd down and shorts and 4th down and shorts for a reason, Douglas.
To fall forward.
If you thought
he's falling forward, Jordan.
If you thought Deshaun Watson was mobile, then
that's not why they're bringing them in, Jordan. No.
It doesn't matter.
We're not. I'm not letting this go. You're not Jameis Winston is 6'4", 240. They're bringing him in to fall forward. They're not bringing him in to break off a long run.
I'm not saying you got to break off a long run. I'm saying you got to extend plays in the pocket.
The most rushing yards in Jameis Winston's career is 213. He's not a runner. Deshaun Watson is the scrambler, the guy who can escape. You've got it wrong. I'm telling you, you got it wrong. Yes.
Not at this point in his career, Douglas. You can't live in yesterday.
No, you are wrong. You are wrong.
That's my bold prediction. We'll see how it plays.
Coach Fresh.
I like it. I like the bold prediction.
Hey, it is bold. That is for sure. You don't see many $50 million quarterbacks get benched. Even if they deserve it, you just don't see it a lot. And if they could win with Jameis Winston, I'm all about it. He's not a $50 million quarterback. He's a rookie. He's a rookie.
He's a rookie on a high-paid salary.
No, he's not. No.
All things
that's
considered.
Not the same as $50 million, though. That is a massive difference.
Doug, if the staff wants to win, they're going to make the change.
Maybe. But, again, big game this weekend, 1-2. Feels like a game that the Browns have to have. Obviously, we're going to be locked in. We're going to be watching Coach Fresh. We're going to transition to the Bengals. Do you want to stay and hang out a little bit longer?
Sure, I'd love to.
Okay, let's transition to the Bengals. You want to talk about, maybe a quarterback change here. This makes a little bit more sense. No, I'm just kidding. Jordan, Bengals take on the Panthers. Andy Dalton comes back to town, or comes back for a potential revenge game, whatever. He beat you guys with the Bears. How are you feeling going into this game, Jordan? 0-3. The offense feels like it's going in the right direction, but the defense remains such a red flag. What are your thoughts, Jordan, heading into the Panthers game?
Okay, so there's a little bit of good news. B.J. Hill and Rankins will play the defensive tackle position. It's not the huge shot in the arm that we needed, but it's something. B.J. Hill is going to bring us a little bit of experience and some good communication on the line. I don't think he's going to be that guy when it comes to the run stop, but it's better, Doug. It's a little bit better. Rankins, I didn't believe in his signing over from the Houston Texans. He hasn't pushed the pocket in every, scenario that we put him in, like we signed him to be that 3 tech, and he hasn't really delivered. We haven't had a 3 tech since Larry Ogunjobi left. If I sound like a broken record, I say that about every week. And it's just it continues to be the same old. But defensively, Doug, I'm a little bit worried. I'm glad that Adam Thielen's going to be out of the game. That's about the only positive news for our secondary right now, who was absolutely decimated on Monday night. So, we'll see. I think, as we talked about on our last show, Doug, if Jordan Battle and company, if some of these younger guys, we get DJ Turner in for some snaps, Jordan Battle in for Von Bell, who's still banged up and questionable for this game. And they had Battle at practice the other day, playing the starting role for the safety position. So
it's about time.
Safety position. So yeah, it's about time. So I think the young man's going to bring a little bit of shot in the arm there for kind of quickness and speed. Something we're desperately lacking, especially, Andy Dalton's going to rely on those tight ends that he has. He kind of showed it off last week, throwing 300 plus yards and us giving up 300 plus yards to the Commanders. I don't feel great defensively. They're going to have to show me something, Doug, because I think until they make a statement, I think we're going to get torched at least for 2 quarters. So we'll see what Lou Amorello does. If he looked himself in the mirror, if he's like, hey, I got depth players for the secondary that I can rotate in, and we can honestly get some of these young guys, who all ran 4.5 or faster in a combine, which we drafted for that sole purpose, can make up for some of these long plays that, Terry McLaurin and company have just kind of pounded on us on Monday night. So I would kind of reevaluate Dax Hill at corner. He was kind of beaten a couple situations himself, and just kind of see where it goes from there. So defensively, Doug, I think it's going to be still a nightmare for us. I think we're going to get butchered. Now, the other side of that coin, offensively, if the Bengals can come out and sustain long drives, we rushed for 140 yards as a ball club on Monday night collectively. That was more than the last 2 games previously combined. We were only at 120 as a team. So it's nice to see us actually put together a team, a ground game. If they can come out on the ground game and kind of get those tight ends involved like we did, week 2 against Kansas City, Doug, I think they're going to be able to answer some things and clear up some of that red zone issue that we saw on Monday night. Those tight ends have got to be involved early and often, and it's going to open the windows up for a wide receiving core. I know Jamar Chase showed up on the injury report. He's listed as questionable at the moment, so that kind of sucks. A guy that bitched about a contract the whole offseason and he can't stay healthy, and he's just now getting his timing down. Make no mistake, it was kind of a breakout game because of coverage, but like Coach Fresh said, he missed all preseason. He missed, a big portion of camp, and that timing finally came some against Washington. So if he can't come out healthy and continue his timing, it's going to be all on T. Higgins. It's going to be on, Yoshi's been kind of a touchdown machine. So, we'll see how that plays. But the offensive line, I'm excited for Mims to get his first start, Douglas.
Yeah.
Over at, right tackle. That's going to be huge for us. Brown's going to be out for the season officially with that knee injury. So it is now Mims time. It's this is what we drafted him from Georgia for. He's got the size, the strength, the youth, and we'll see if he can put it together for 4 quarters and, protect Joe Burrow. But I think we can pull this out. Carolina's not talented enough, in my opinion, to win this game. I think this is going to be a fireworks game. So I think you're going to see, 28-31, 31 or even potentially higher. But I think the Bengals are going to pull it out with an absolute fireworks display.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's going to stop anybody on defense. Carolina's kind of abysmal on defense. And until Cincinnati shows a pulse or makes the changes, Doug, I'm not confident that they're going to make any stops either. So I think it's going to fall on Joe Burrow in the run game to really take over this game. And if we can shorten the game with a dominant run in the beginning, we'll be able to pull it out.
Okay. Coach Fresh, Jordan put a lot on the table there. What is your key there? Obviously you have your, you like to, pry the needle in there, needle a little bit, but what are your thoughts? Bengals 0-3 visiting the Panthers. What do you need to see from the Bengals to make you believe they can win this game?
I think offensively, the Bengals I think they're fine. You're right. The defense is a mess. And I mean, you need those interior tackles. I mean, you guys should have kept the Reader kid. He was an absolute monster. He was dominant.
Duke Tobin messed up big time.
Your defensive line, I don't think is the huge problem. I think it's your second level guys. Your linebackers don't fill. And a problem with that is the defensive line. Okay, and the defensive line is supposed to eat up blocks, right? Don't let those offensive linemen get to the second level and get blocked. Well, against Washington was having a field day with your linebackers. I mean, it was those guys got to get better. And as far as like overall, though, I think the Bengals they're right there. I mean, as much as it pains me they're a good football team. They just got to get it right on track and try to find some dudes that want to play. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, the defensive line was standing straight up. The linebackers were getting pushed around, and the corners, I didn't think they played too terrible bad. You're going to get burnt. When you play corner in the NFL, you're going to get beat. It's how you react to it. And I felt like it was just an open book at that point. But I think the Bengals, unfortunately, the Red Rifle puts it on them this weekend. And I think the Bengals are 0-4.
Wow. Okay.
Coach Fresh, do you think they make some coaching changes or somebody gets fired if they start?
Well, here's the thing.
Kind of alarming.
Here's the thing, guys. You think about how bad, God, who was the coach before him?
Marvin
Lewis. I mean, how many years did they keep him around? That's one thing Mike Brown does not like is change.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think there's going to be a head coaching change. Now, maybe a coordinator gets thrown under the bus, which is typically what happens in situations like that.
I think Lou's job is on the hot seat when it comes to
I
the
agree.
defense.
I agree. And here's the thing, and these guys all know those guys are way smarter than I could ever be when it comes to football. But if you don't have the guys to do it, then you got to change your scheme. So whether that's coming from a 40 front or a 50 front or whatever, you have to do something. If you keep trying to do the same thing over and over, you're going to be 0-4. And that's just the reality of it. These guys are too good. These guys will pick out their fish and they will eat and pick on them all day.
Yeah, Coach, that's well said. Jordan, you obviously said you had the Bengals winning in a slugfest. Coach Fresh thinks you guys moved to 0-4. In my opinion, Jordan, if you guys moved to 0-4, I think Lou Amarillo is probably another loss away from probably losing that job. It just feels like something would have to change on a team that had aspirations to make a run in the playoffs, and you transition and then you're potentially 0-4, 1-4, looking up at the division. I personally think you guys beat Carolina. I think they're not in a slugfest. I don't think they can score with your guys' offense. I mean, Andy Dalton's good for one of these every now and then. He has that big 300-yard, 3-touchdown game. But then reality comes back where, he's past his time as a starter in the league. There was that flash in the pan where he just knows where the offense is going to be, knows Adam Thielen's going to be there. He has enough touch on that to make it work. I think that runs out this week, and you guys get your first win to move to 1-4. I'm going to say Carolina's defense is very bad. They have given up. They've given up the most points in the NFL, 31, almost 32 points per game. I say you guys win 35-21. I think you guys handle them pretty well. Their defense is bad. I expect Zach Moss and Chase Brown to have another good game to build off of last week, because given what had happened, the run blocking was better. Obviously, the pass blocking we know really picked up there in that second half. Joe Burrow really started to make it work, but the defense let you guys down. I think you guys do enough to win this week. You get the first win. You're 1-3 going into next week. But like I said, that hot seat gets really, really hot for Lou if you guys lose this week, in my opinion.
I think if you're a Bengals fan, you have to ask what changed after the Kansas City game, because you guys looked awesome. So as me, if I was a Bengals fan, I'm going, what the hell did we do? What are we doing differently? Because if we can hang with the best team in the NFL, and guys, until they're beat, they're the best team in the NFL. So what changed? Was it your scheme? Did you change your scheme for the next games moving forward? Personnel? That baffles me. That absolutely puzzles me, and I'm not even a fan.
Personnel on defense, especially in the secondary, is what bothered me, because DJ Turner registered 29 snaps against Kansas City. Then he registered only 5 snaps against the Washington Commanders. And even though he had one interception that was called back because of a penalty on the opposite side of the play, but it was hands of the face, that didn't bother me. And we had another interception right after that. But I think the personnel changed. If you look at the snap counts for the guys in the secondary, and even Akeem Davis-Gathers would come in at linebacker and give either Logan Wilson and Pratt a break. Akeem, and he had the interception against Patrick Mahomes as well. Akeem Davis-Gathers' snap count was also lower. So I think, Lou had a real problem getting these guys rotated, because when he's successful, at least in the past or even during the Super Bowl run, he would run them like almost like an ice hockey, a line change. We'd have guys kind of, share snaps pretty evenly. And lately, he's running Sam Hubbard and Von Bell, who had injuries and just looked like shells of themselves, into the ground. Where, these young guys that were ready to come out and play, he just didn't rotate them in. And when you get that deep into the game, I don't know. If I'm a coach and I'm looking at it and I'm seeing something's not working, I'm not necessarily going to stick to it when it comes to personnel, regardless of the veteran leadership or not. And that's something that Lou just kind of, I don't know. It just looked like he froze. It didn't look like the swagger. Cam Taylor-Burt running his mouth earlier in the week didn't help either, calling Washington a college offense. And, when we were 0-2. So, I mean, we
can't run your mouth and get beat by that team.
And that kind of, I felt like that also, those coaches on Washington, and they talked about it all week on local circuits, they took that comment personally. So I feel like Washington came out with an extra chip on their shoulder, and just when they realized, like you said, that they could take it to them and they could start picking on them, the calls on 4th and 5 and 4th and 3. I don't think they make that call if we don't make those comments and fire them up, because they just, they had zero fear about either running the ball or making a play when they had to on 4th down. And we didn't get off the field either. So I feel like they came in with a huge chip on their shoulder, and the game felt personal for Washington, because, every play, every explanation, they just came out and they handled business. Mm-hmm. And maybe that Kansas City game kind of broke us too. Like you said, we looked flat. I felt like you
definitely looked flat.
Regardless of how you feel about how the game ended, we lost, and I felt that kind of hung over to that Monday night game, because nobody got off the bus for defense, so it really didn't resonate with regular Cincinnati football. Usually we can hang our hat on either a dominant pass rush or a good performance for the secondary. Our defensive tackles have always been kind of questionable post Geno Atkins. So to see, all three phases just kind of come out flat, like you nailed that, you nailed it there. The linebackers, usually Logan Wilson and Pratt are our strong points. And when they were getting washed down and they were getting hit, and they were being taken out of the play, there was nobody there to answer the call. So, and we didn't rotate anybody new in. So, if Lou Lamoriello sticks with that formula, we will go 0-4. But if he looks himself in a mirror, and he's renowned for being a smart guy, and he's always been known for halftime adjustments. So if he gets back to his old self, I think he's going to call a good game against Carolina.
Gotcha. Well, Coach, that's we've broken down the Browns versus the Raiders. We've broken down the Bengals versus Carolina. Coach, we've kept you for 38 minutes. Anything you would like to say before we get you out of here? We really appreciate your time.
Just it's a blast. I had a blast. It's anytime you guys want me on, just give me a shout.
Yep.
I really appreciate it. I love having fun with you guys and listening on X and jabbing you every once in a while. But it's all in good fun. But thank you guys very much. So anytime, just give me a call.
Okay. Coach, again, means a lot to us. Thank you for your time. We'll obviously be rooting for you in the Alternites. So we'll keep going that way. We will be talking to you again soon, Coach. See ya.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
See you tomorrow night, Coach.
See you, bud.
All right, guys. That was Coach Fresh of the Alternites. Again, thank you for his time. Jordan, great job getting him on today and getting his insights on the NFL. Jordan, before we transition to the Ohio State game, let's get our Bengals and our Browns parlay of the week. Let me get that pulled up for us here. is. Okay, Jordan. So what we're looking at the Bengals versus Carolina. As of right now, I have I'm getting the same game parlay pulled up. Jordan, right now, I'm going to start us off. I think Ja'Marr Chase scores again this week. I think him and Burrow are hot right now. I think he gets another touchdown this week. I'm going to add an anytime touchdown score for Ja'Marr Chase to our list. What would you like to see next added to our bet?
Is there some love for Yoshi? Does Yoshi make it 3 consecutive games with a touchdown?
Okay, so you want to go Yoshi Voss touchdown again?
Yes.
Whew. That's going to make it interesting.
Doug, he's been a touchdown machine. Every time they get to the red zone, they kind of find him.
Okay. In my opinion, Jordan, I think we need to round it out here with some Joe Burrow yards. I'm going to go Joe Burrow. I'm going to go Joe Burrow to throw for 275 this week. You think that's too much? You think that's enough? 275? If you think it's going to be a shootout, he's going to have to throw the ball to score. Does that make sense?
I think 275 is fine because I don't think he's going to throw the ball as much as last week because they're going to.
You don't think he's going to throw the ball as much?
I don't think he's going to throw the ball as much because they're going to want Doug with the way the defense is playing. If I'm an offensive coach, I'm going to shorten down the game, and you shorten down the game by getting the ground game going and getting the short game kind of West Coast style locked and loaded.
So should we go 250 then to play it a little safer?
I think 250 is where you want to be with that because I think there's going to be a heavy dose of Moss and Brown early and often, and with the way Carolina's defense has been playing, this would make sense because you want to control the clock and you want to shorten this game. You want to make sure Andy Dalton's on the sideline.
So our 3 bets for the Bengals game, we've got Ja'Marr Chase anytime touchdown. We've got Yoshi anytime touchdown. We got Joe Burrow 250-plus yards. Let's go to the Browns game. Jordan, what would you like to see from the Browns to kick it off?
I would like to see let's give Cooper some love. I think he continues his hot streak. I think anytime touchdown for Mr. Amari Cooper.
Okay. All right. I like that also. I'm going to go Deshaun Watson passing yards. I'm going to go
He's only playing one half. Remember that, Doug.
For in your mind, yes, which is crazy. I'm going to go Deshaun Watson 175 passing yards.
Okay.
And then
I think that's safe.
Finish us off, Jordan. We need one more leg to this bet. What is your last leg of our Browns and Bengals parlay? It can be yards, it can be catches, it can be rushing yards.
Is there an all-purpose bet?
Yeah, for what do you want?
Give me Jerome Ford for 85 plus yards for all-purpose.
85 yards for all-purpose. Okay.
I think you're going to try to get him involved in a screen game, and I think you're going to try to give him a heavy dose of the run game early. I think he's gonna break one of those.
Oh boy, that is gonna be tough on our bet. I will
app you the money, sir.
Let me see if I can find it. I can't find it on here yet. Maybe it's because he's on the. You know why? It's because he's questionable right now.
Oh, that might hurt because
that's why
I thought Ja'Marr Chase was questionable, so I was shocked that he was still.
I think they plan on him playing. Well, he's there for the touchdown, so
let's give him the touchdown. Let's give him a score. Let's give Mr. Ford the score.
Okay, Jordan, we've got Ja'Marr Chase anytime touchdown score. We got Yoshi anytime touchdown score. Joe Burrow 250 yards. Amari Cooper touchdown. Deshaun Watson, 175 yards. Jerome Ford, a touchdown. That is plus 10,460. We're going to put in a $10 wager. That is $10 to win $1,056. That would be a massive, massive bet. We will post that tomorrow. That's a fun one, Jordan. But let's keep it moving, dude. We've got to talk a little bit of Ohio State football. It is time for Big Ten football in Ohio. How you feeling, buddy? How you feeling?
Doug, I finally feel offensively. We'll start there. I'll grease the wheels here. Offensively, I'm feeling fantastic. We got our full offensive line at full strength. We got our guard back, made a season debut. Judkins absolutely looks primed and ready for Big Ten play. He had that long touchdown. There was no call back this week. 2 weeks ago, he had an 80-yard plus run that was called back for a hold that had nothing to do with him or the play, but That's a game of football. This week, he busted a 72-yarder straight to the house. Extremely happy about that. TreVeyon Henderson looked like, he finally kind of found his role to do that down and dirty, those third down and shorts, those runs that you need on a goal line. So this run game finally looks complete. We knew the pass game was going to take care of itself eventually and click on all cylinders there, which Ibaka and company, it was good to see him finally get involved. He's been kind of overshadowed a little bit by the young freshman stud. Mm-hmm. So to see him, finally it's his senior year to make that long touchdown play himself, they're looking primed. So I'm good there. Let's talk about the ugly, Douglas. We didn't register a sack last week. That is not that doesn't make me feel good. The pass rush was kind of a question coming into the season. Who was going to step up? Was it going to be Jack Sawyer? Was it going to be JT Tomoa? Who was going to answer that call? And Douglas, outside of JT, bullying some lower level guys late in the game, and Jack Sawyer had a lot of pressures the week prior. We don't have it. At least right now, we don't have it. It could be because we're holding back. I heard a lot of complaints that Ohio State, coming off that bye, the attitude wasn't very serious. So, and that was before the ball kicked off. A lot of media outlets were reporting the energy was low. Nobody really looked motivated, and nothing told me that more than defensively when, Marshall came down and kicked our teeth in the first quarter there, and just really, really brought it to them and had to wake Ohio State up. They had to wake up the sleeping giant. So, you can't do that against these other teams, Doug. Michigan State is not as talented as they have been in years past. So that defense has got to come out and make a statement. If we don't get that first 3 and out, I think it's going to be a long first half for the defense. So I'm a little bit worried about the defense. I think Ohio State's going to win this game, hands down. But if that defense doesn't step up, Doug, we could be looking, Michigan State could put up 14 and 21 points. And I don't necessarily want to see that going into Big Ten play. So how do you feel? Do you resonate with that, or does any of that kind of shake you?
Nah, so I'm not too worried about Michigan State. Their quarterback is talented, but he is kind of a turnover machine. He's got 7 interceptions already. They have a solid wide receiver, freshman Nick Marsh, who's extremely talented. He's got he had a 77-yard touchdown. So they've got some talented pieces, but I don't think their defense is very good. And they're coming off a loss to Boston College, who has a good defense in their own right, but they don't have the offensive firepower like Ohio State. I think we handle business. I think we win by 3 touchdowns. Jordan, I don't have too many worries. We've got to contain their athletic quarterback. I would love, like you said, the defensive line. We've got to be better. Sawyer, I know he's created pressures early. JTT, dude, this guy he
fell off paper again.
He's whatever kind of motor in a Ferrari body. Like he's not what we expected. When we brought this guy in, he was the number 1 recruit in the country, and he's just not the guy that we thought we were getting. He doesn't create the sacks. He doesn't do that kind of stuff. I'm hoping this week he can get to the quarterback and get one, but it just hasn't all come together for him like I thought it would to start the year. I don't think Michigan State can keep up with our offense. I expect Quinshon Judkins to have a rushing touchdown. I expect Jeremiah Smith to have a rushing touchdown. I expect the boys to come out and punch Michigan State in the mouth.
You expect Jeremiah Smith to rush one or to receive?
No, catch one. Sorry. I expect Judkins to rush one Smith to catch one, and I think we roll Michigan State.
I'd be cool with the jet sweep. I'd be cool with the jet sweep.
That would be fun, but we usually get that to Ibuka. You know, he usually has the Ibuka gets the jet sweep. So
when Ibuka gets the ball, he becomes almost like a running back.
Yeah, he's got a nose for that. Yeah,
flow.
I like it.
So,
I like it a lot. But I think this is another tune-up game. I think we put our foot down on Michigan State and we handle them, and we continue getting ready for Oregon in not in 2 weeks, Jordan. I think we handle them pretty easily.
As I said, I think we win this game, but my eyes are going to be on what does the defense do to get the pop, you know, whether that's rotating some new guys, getting the linebackers involved. Like you said, interception. We have the best secondary in the country, and it needs to show up early in the game, not just late when we're kind of stepping on these guys and, you know, imposing our will. So you know, but like I said, if we see those 3 and outs early, if we see that early turnover, then I think that motor for the defense is gonna take off. But I mean, Chip Kelly in this offense, Doug, I lose no sleep. They are primed. They are absolutely primed. Will Howard really in the last 2 games looks everything as advertised at quarterback. You know, they moved him. Douglas, that play when they brought out everybody and we kind of went into that wing T formation, we had Judkins, we had our stud running back right next to him, and we had Howard all right next to each other. That is, you know, that's kind of a package I think we're going to see in the bigger games. But you know, sure. I think that was a small sample size. They ran it probably just to see if they, you know, how it looked early during a live game. But Douglas, if they can get that going, how do you feel against a team like Oregon? Because I know I'm kind of jumping the gun here a couple of weeks, but that formation had me thinking a lot of positive things.
Well, it's exciting because when you can get your best athletes on the field together, along with your receivers, it's really hard to be upset. You just have so many options. It's an embarrassment of riches, and obviously, we're going to need that kind of stuff against Oregon. Oregon is extremely talented. They had some hiccups early in the year, but those weren't hiccup losses. They were just They didn't win by 28. They won by 3. They didn't beat Idaho by 50. They won by, I still think that they were getting used to some of the new stuff in their own right. We got to get past Michigan State. We got to get past Iowa, who's got a solid defense. They'll give us a little bit of a challenge, but there's a lot of signs are pointing to the Iowa game.
Do you think TreVeyon Henderson? Do you think TreVeyon Henderson, Jugs, and Will Howard come in at formation again? Maybe not on a goal line. Do you think it's going to?
I would love to see it in the open field. I'd love to see it in the open field. Yeah, I think we continue to add layers to this offense as we go along, and people get more comfortable. I'm expecting to see it, maybe from just outside the red zone this week. We get to see a little bit of razzle dazzle from those guys. But Jordan, we both predict Ohio State wins. You think it's going to be maybe a little closer than I do, but we're in for another fun one this week. Let's finish it up, Jordan. Ohio news and notes. What do we got looking forward to this weekend, buddy?
The only baseball team that's worth a shit right now. Maybe not this weekend, but moving forward, the Guardians locked up their first round bye for the AL playoffs. Yep. Unfortunately, it was against the Kentucky Reds. Whatever that was about with those T-shirts, it was cracking me up. At this point, we can laugh at it. The seriousness of our season, kind of simmer down, Doug. We can have fun with the other team from Ohio. So I was happy to see those guys, lock up their pennant, get that first round bye and really, really excel here. So I know we're going to cover that. We're going to cover their postseason run pretty hard, even though you and I aren't diehard Guardians fans by any stretch.
Reds fans.
But, we're Reds fans till the day we die. Unfortunately, it's probably going to kill us at some point. But, it's fine. But I was happy to see the Guardians. But, I'll transition off that thought. FC Cincinnati takes on LA this Saturday. So I look for FC Cincinnati to continue their role. They too have locked up their playoff spot, their postseason spot, however you want to call it, in the MLS world. So I think they handle business here. I think they get a 2-1 win against LA. LA is not a bad team, Douglas. They've struggled at times, but I think this is their tune-up game going to the postseason that they kind of need. So, expect our team captain and everybody to kind of play full strength and really treat this like the playoff game going into the postseason. So I think we get a 2-1 win there. It's going to be competitive, but FC Cincinnati is kind of on a roll here, Doug. So, I'm really excited that they're breaking in on Saturday and kind of starting that level of play, that competition that they need to, get grinding early.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a fun weekend. And then, we've got all kinds of college football this weekend from around the area. We'll give you a couple games to watch from Ohio, little Maction, if you like. We've got Miami of Ohio taking on UMass. Miami of Ohio 0-3, but they started off with a really difficult schedule, Jordan, and we highlighted that. We highlighted that this summer when we talked about it. A close loss to Northwestern by 7, an 11-point loss to Cincinnati, a 25-point loss to Notre Dame. Now they're getting into the MAC schedule. Things should even out a little bit more for them. They've got UMass at 3:30 tomorrow. I expect them to win that game, Jordan, and get going back in the right direction. Ohio takes on Akron this week. I expect Ohio to win that game. Ohio's got a really good running back, Tyus III. He's going to have a big game against Akron, in my opinion. And then Bowling Green takes on Old Dominion. That'll be a win for Bowling Green. So that'll round out the MAC action for Ohio. And then in the Big 12, Cincinnati takes on Texas Tech. Both teams are 3-1. They're in Lubbock, Texas, so that's going to be a tough one. Kind of a game to watch, Jordan. It's on at 8 p.m. on ESPN2. I'll be flipping, checking that game out in between some Ohio State drives. So a fun weekend for football. We got soccer. We've got everything you can imagine this weekend. And guess what, buddy? Monday, we get to talk about it all over again. 9:15 live Ohio Sports Talk. The coach, Jordan Maxon. Me, Doug, just basic Doug. That's all I am. I'm not a coach. I'm just a fan who says shit into the microphone. But I appreciate you guys for listening. 78 live viewers tonight, Jordan. Tell me your thoughts before we get out of here tonight, buddy.
Super excited. Thank you to Coach Fresh, friend of the program, personal friend of mine. Can't wait to have you back on, sir. It's going to be fun. But Doug, this has been great. We've got our traction back. Tuesday was a great show. Tonight was a great show. A little less ranting for me, a little cleaner language for some of our viewers that want to clean us up. Aunt Wendy, I went the whole game. I kept my mouth shut. We did it. So a little pat on the back to us, Douglas. We did it. We didn't butcher the language, but I'm sure it'll be coming if the Bengals start 0-4. God help all of our viewers. Just go ahead and mute my mic. Let Doug interpret everything I say next Monday. But other than that, it's been a great show, and a small shout out to the UC Bearcats. They've been hot lately for their football program.
Big game this weekend.
They have a big game in their own right. They started Big 12 play last week. So, starting 1-0 in your own division is always a good thing. So, I'll be happy to see them play. And Douglas, any say Browns for you?
No, like you said, thank you, Coach Fresh. Thanks to everybody in the live chat, Chris MS, Coco Von Coconut, Go Bucks, Go Browns. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for watching the show. 75 live viewers means a lot to us. We would do this show if nobody watched. So it really does mean a lot that people do tune in and hear us talk and things like that. Like you said, live Monday night, 9:15, back at it. A lot of stuff going on in our world, Jordan. So it's great to get together and put these shows out and have a great time doing it. And if you missed Jordan's rant from Tuesday night, it is on our YouTube channel. It is on our Twitter channel, our Twitter page. 18 long minutes of Jordan just going after the Bengals. It was a hell of a fun time. So check that out. Jordan, love you, buddy. We'll be back next week. This has been Ohio Sports Talk. I'm your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxon. See you next time.